Like other gaming systems, Starfinder has leveled spells. However, they handle them just a little bit differently than some other traditional systems. Since there's literally over 200 spells and over 30 of those are leveled spells, you're probably going to run into them. It can be a little bit confusing, so I thought I would do a video today explaining how leveled spells work in Starfinder, and then maybe cover a few of my favorites that I've discovered thus far. In Starfinder, casters are able to just command or use their spells. There is a few exceptions to this with the Technomancer where they have to roll to hit, but typically you can cast any spell that you know. You have spell slots or known spells. When you're using the traditional magic rules, not the variant magic rules, spellcasters will have known spells and spell slots. The known spells are just their vast knowledge of the magical know-how. As they progress in levels, you learn more spells. Spell slots are what you're actually able to cast. Typically, as long as you know a spell, you can cast it as many times as you have spell slots for it. It's very common to know more spells than you have spell slots for. And according to the rules as written, each time your character levels up, you can change their known spells. Leveled spells are just a little bit different. Variable level spells run all the way from 1st level up to 6th level, and sometimes in between. Obviously, the higher level you cast it, the more damage or the more effective your spell is going to be. What makes them so special is the versatility and the options you get when you take a leveled spell. The variable leveled spells really start to come into their own the higher up you get. Now in Starfinder, the highest tier of magic that is commonly available to magic users is level 6. When you take a variable leveled spell at the higher levels, this is where you start to see its versatility, because not only can you cast it at the highest level that you know it, you can also cast it at lower levels. And for the lower levels, it doesn't count as a known spell against your vast knowledge. Let's say, for example, you have a variable leveled spell at level 2. You will know it at level 2 and it will sit in your level 2 known spells, but you can decide to cast it at level 1. Should you do so, you will gain the effects of casting it at 1st level instead of 2nd level, but it doesn't count to your level 1 known spells. You can still have as many as your class allows for your level. How many times can I say level in this video? And the same is true the higher up it goes. If you know a variable spell, you can cast it at all levels between 1 to 6. However, it still uses a spell slot for that level at which you cast it, and it only gives the effects for the level at which you cast it, but you can very quickly see how this can become very useful. Let's take a look at Mystic Cure, arguably one of the best healing spells in the game. Mystic Cure ranges from levels 1 to 6, and at level 1, it does 1d8 plus your wisdom modifier for healing. Now this applies directly to your hit points. It does not heal stamina points. That is a very rare thing to directly affect with magic, but there is a spell that'll do that. Now let's say your Mystic knows this at 2nd level. They can decide to cast it at 2nd level for 3d8 healing points plus wisdom modifier and use a 2nd level spell slot, or they can choose to cast it at 1st level, take the 1d8 plus wisdom modifier for healing, and only use a 1st level spell slot, even though it's known at 2nd level. Some leveled spells can be enhanced even further from their already variable level. Continuing on with the theme of Mystic Cure, if you cast Mystic Cure at 4th, 5th, or 6th level, there is 2 more options for you to choose from. 4th level plus magic is considered quite powerful. Not your average adventurer is going to have access to this kind of magic. So if you decide to cast Mystic Cure at 4th, 5th, or 6th, you can choose one of the following. You can do even more healing to an already powerful healing spell, or you can choose to bring someone who's recently died back from the dead, as long as it's been within 2 rounds. Now this spell is only available to the Mystics. There is another one that is a very high damage dealing spell available to the Mystics and the Witch Warpers. Soul Surge is a variable leveled spell going from 1 to 6. and it is the highest output damage spell that I have seen thus far. Not only in total damage, but also in average damage. Unlike Mystic Cure, this spell does not have any extra bonuses for casting it at higher levels. I think that would be pretty broken if there was. There is a bit of a price to pay for that extra damage that you're dealing. At level 1, you're dealing 3d8 dice worth of damage to a single creature within 25 feet. Now the downside to this is however many damage dice you roll, that's how many hit points you lose as the caster due to the nature of the spell. Now at 2nd level, this moves up to 6d8. 3rd level is 10d8. 4th level is 14d8 worth of damage. 5th level is 21d8. 6th level is 24d8. So if you're going to take this spell and use it at the higher levels, make sure you have a lot of dice. And make sure you're not light on the hit points, because that's how many damage you're going to take for casting the spell. Now if you're into something a little bit more wacky, there is always Polymorph, the leveled spell. It's quite wordy, there's a lot to this spell. You can transform into one of 4 forms, and you get to pick those forms when you take the spell. For each increased level that you know this spell, you will add 4 forms that have to fit the spell level. At level 1, you can basically only do an animal or a humanoid. You still look like you, so you're recognizable if somebody sees you. And you can only be small or medium-sized, basically imitating creatures up to a CR of 1. Now at 2nd level, you start to get some more options with this. At 2nd level, you can be an animal, a fae, a humanoid, a monstrous humanoid, a magical beast, anything up to CR 3, as well as the sizes being small to medium. Now at 3rd level, your options are expanded again. You can be an aberration, an animal, a fae, a humanoid, a monstrous humanoid, a magical beast, or even vermin. Your size is still limited to small or medium-sized creatures, but your CR of those creatures goes up to level 6. 4th level of this spell, the same rules apply as 3rd level, except now you can start going into small, medium, or large-sized creatures, and your options are expanded to CR 9. 5th level really starts to blow the doors off of this spell, and your creature CR level for your veritable cornucopia of options is CR 12. And your size ratings can go from tiny, small, medium, or large. Now the most powerful level of this spell, level 6, your options are now expanded again to 11 creature types, and you can run the full spectrum sizes for your creatures: tiny, small, medium, large, and huge. And the maximum CR for the creatures that you can select from jumps up to 15. Now with this spell, I didn't even talk about all of the damage resistances, the spells and abilities that these creatures can get, the speeds which they move. All of these things need to be factored, which is why you have to pre-build your forms. While I like the idea of this spell, and I think it could be a lot of fun for the right player, it's a lot of work to take this one because you have to have 4 forms pre-built for every spell level. Now, if you found this information useful or helpful to you, you may enjoy this video where I explain some common mistakes made in combat that slow down your game in Starfinder. Thank you to all of my supporters who help me out on Patreon. My name's Nathaniel. Thanks for stopping by, everyone.